Welcome to 1999K Radio, where deaf people talk. Good evening, night drifters, YouTube surfers, and radio listeners. Welcome back to 1999K Radio. My name is Sebastian, and tonight I will be your host. Thank you, and welcome to the third emission of this, your midnight radio show. We have a nice show for you guys. Tonight, March 6th, 2022, my horror hounds, we're celebrating all horror movies' birthday. On February 26th, 1920, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari was released, considered by many the first horror movie. So today, we're going to talk about the first movies. During the pass of time, just a very few can hold with pride or shame to be the first at something. And tonight, we're going to talk about a few horror movies that have the pride to be considered the first movie of their genre. These movies are not in any particular order, so don't worry about how they're placed. Most of them are silent movies from the 1900s, also in black and white. And I think the best things for these movies are, well, the practical effects, the acting, and the soundtracks. I hope you liked them as much as I did, and I was able to find them on YouTube, so I will leave the links in the description just in case you decide to give them a look. If you do, well, please give a like to those videos because they're actually very awesome. And I think it's pretty cool that thanks to all these channels who hold this type of movies, we can see them now. So, why don't we begin? Tonight I'm going to talk about 10 movies. Once again, they're in black and white. Most, if not all of them, are silent. And, well, I'm going to be pronouncing some French, German, so if I fail, like giving names or using the correct pronunciation, I will apologize in advance for that. They're not very good. I'm not very good at it. So, the first movie that I want to tell you about is the first short film. And it's called Le Manoir de Diable from 1896. In English, you can find it both as The Haunted Castle or The House of the Devil. Directed by Georges Méliès from French. The duration of this short film is for 3 minutes and 20 seconds. The plot is very basic. In a haunted castle, a mischievous devil appears and harasses the visitors. It's a very nice short film to watch, especially for the value that has, like, for history. And if you pay attention to a certain point of this film, you can see a moment where the background almost falls. So it's kind of funny. It's very theatrical. It's a sweet video for you to watch, and it gives you a little of nostalgia when you see it. There isn't much to say because it's actually pretty short. Not the shortest one, but I think it's pretty good if you want to spend like 5 minutes of your time giving it a look. This movie, I found it on a channel called Crank It Up Films. Then again, I'm gonna leave the link for all these videos or movies or films if you're on the description. So if you want to jump and give it a look, I definitely recommend you to do it. Now the second film, this one is the first gore movie, and it's called El Inferno from 1911. In English will be Hell or The Hell, you know. It's directed by Francesco Bartolini, Adolfo Padovan, and Giuseppe De Liguro. It's from Italy. The duration is 68 minutes, which is actually a pretty long movie. And this is an adaptation of the Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri. This movie only covers hell. It doesn't cover purgatory or heaven. It's a silent film. And it was considered gore not because of the gruesome amount of blood, because there's not a single drop of blood in it, but because the very theatrical and clever special effects that they use for it. It's an awesome movie. If you can actually sit down and watch an hour-long silent movie, I think you will really enjoy it. The soundtrack is very nice, and the makeup is super, super cool. The first time that I saw it, for me, it was like very impressive. All this acting, this body language that the actors give you. So definitely recommend you guys to give it a look. It's a very, very good one. This one I found it on a channel called Mike Kicker, and I will leave the link below. Now, I wouldn't like to leave like any, sci-fi alien out of it. So the third movie that we have here, it's the first alien movie. It's the first movie that where an alien actually appeared. I'm pretty sure many of you guys have heard about it, and it's in French. It's Le Voyage dans la Lune. In English, it's A Trip to the Moon, from the 1902. Is then again directed by Georges Méliès. Is from France. And this movie has a duration between 9 and 13 minutes. It kind of depends on how you see it, or the format that it has. Pretty much the movie starts with a community of researchers. They're looking to find a way to travel to the moon. They succeed at this, and they made an exploration. Once they land on the moon, they find some aliens in the moon who they actually have to fight to survive and come back home. I love this short film. I actually have a DVD with like 3 different formats of it. One of them is actually like, for what I understood, it was like hand draw, because it's black and white. So apparently someone actually like hand draw this, so it's pretty cool to watch. It has some wicked makeups. It has a little of a nightmare feel, I can say, especially the moon makeup. And the music is very nice. It's very suited for the film. Additionally, something that pushed me towards watching this movie the first time that I saw it was the band Smashing Pumpkins, which is like a very nice band if you're like around my age, got inspired by this film to create the video of the song Tonight Tonight, which is a song that I love very, very much. And I was able to find the video of this film in a channel called Billy Vras Quintet, and you can find the link below of it. Now, number 4. We've been traveling around with these ones. This film, it's something that I have seen it a few times. I have seen a few pictures of it, but I never actually had the time to sit down and watch it. And it's a German film. It's called Der Golem. In the US was released as The Monster of Fate, 1915, directed by Paul Wegner and Hendrik Gallin. Then again, the country is Germany, and the duration is 60 minutes. The plot, it's a little interesting. It goes kind of like this. It's that an antiques dealer is searching the ruins of a Jewish temple, and he happens to find a golem, a clay statue that had been brought to life 4 centuries earlier by the Kabbalist rabbi using a magical amulet to protect the Jewish people from persecution. The dealer resurrects the golem as a servant, but the golem falls in love with Jessica, the dealer's daughter. So when she does not return his love, the golem goes on a rampage and commits a series of murders. In my opinion, this movie works very well. You can see, especially with silent movies, you have the time to sit down and watch it. I think you must be in a particular like state, or wanted to watch a silent movie. And I think the acting is very good, very, very good. The soundtrack works very well, and isn't this type of long movies that are like an hour long, where you're able to watch the landscapes and they look pretty amazing. They use backgrounds and these kind of pictures and frames where you can see like castles and you can see houses and stuff like that, and it looks pretty awesome. And the acting of Paul Wagner as the Golem is pretty haunted. The Golem really gives you some chill when you see him. I was fortunate enough to find it on a channel called Project Tokyo, and you're going to be able to find also this movie below. Now, number 5, the reason why this video exists actually, the first horror film, Das Cabinet des Dr. Caligari. In the US was released as The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, 1920. Then again, some people say that this is not the very first horror movie. Some people does. The people who do, it's because of the length of the movie, that it's 34 minutes. It's a German movie. The movie goes as follows. A mysterious man called Dr. Caligari seeks a permit from the town clerk to present a show at a fair, in which he has a somnambulist inside of his cabinet. And when he starts giving his show during the night, strange murders start to happen in the town. So I don't want to give you more spoilers about it. In my opinion, personally, I really love this movie. This movie is very well known for its German impressionism. The places, the scenography is something that is very unique and is very artistic, and having a special mystic air around it. You can tell it came from a nightmare. I highly recommend it. And also, like, if you're a metal fan, a rock fan, I'm pretty sure that you have seen Rob Zombie's videos, Living Dead Girl, where you can see that he makes like an homage to this movie. So it's an awesome movie, and I think it's gonna be something very, if you have never seen it, it's gonna be something very unusual for you to see and to experience it. And it has like certain frames where they look pretty haunted and pretty cool. I was able to find this movie particularly in a channel called Tweet TV, so you can guys jump there and give it a look if you want. Now, the 6th movie on this list is the first Universal monster horror film. As we horror lovers know, Universal Studios hold like a flag maybe of owning the Universal monsters, which is Dracula, Frankenstein, the creature from the Black Lagoon, the Hunchback from Notre Dame, etc. So in this time I wanted to cheat a little, and I wanted to bring you guys the first film where one of these monsters appeared. In this case, it's Frankenstein from 1910, and it is directed by J. Shirley Dawley. It's from the United States. The duration is 16 minutes. And well, the plot, as you guys know, it's Dr. Frankenstein. He's doing experiments where he's trying to bring life into a dead corpse, and he's haunted afterwards. Then again, as a very important nerd for horror movies, Frankenstein is the doctor, not the creature. And in my opinion, it's a nice short film. I was actually able to find a copy of it on YouTube from a channel called The Video Seller, with the Dance Macabre as soundtrack. So it's pretty amazing. They both fit very well. The acting is very cool. It's very entertaining. The makeup for the creature, it's very unique. I'm sure you have seen a few times the picture of the creature on the internet, or of this specific Frankenstein, which is very different from all the other portraits of Frankenstein that we have nowadays. And it's always like funny or nice to see the things that used to scare people in the past, that now it could look a little funny or silly, but in the past it was like very scary. So then again, I will leave the link of this movie on the description so you can actually jump there and give it a look. Number 7, first vampire film. We all know the answer for this one, but I have to bring it. The first vampire film was Nosferatu. In German was shown or released as Eine Symphony des Grauens. In the US, Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror, from the 1922, directed by F.W. Murnau. Then again, it's from Germany. The duration is between 63 and 94 minutes, depending on the version and the speed. So if it goes pretty fast, it's going to be like an hour long, and if it goes a little slower, it could be like an hour and a half. Now, this movie is based on Bram Stoker's book, Dracula. So the plot, it's very similar to the movie that we have nowadays, with a few changes. In this case, well, Thomas Hotler is sent to Transylvania by his employer, his estate agent. He's going to visit his new client, Count Orlok, who plans to buy a house across from Hotler's own house. After Orlok's arrival to the new house, many deaths start to happen in the new town, and Thomas starts to suspect that Count Orlok may be a vampire. Guys, in my opinion, this movie is a total classic. A total classic. The ambient music is amazing, and it's wonderful to watch how they use their imagination to create special effects, and how they create or were able to develop this whole story into a film. Is gonna follow the steps of Bram Stoker's book, very good, with a few minor changes, but I think it's pretty interesting to watch. And also Count Orlok is this type of vampire that has like this kind of rat face, with the long ears. It's actually very, very different or far-fetched from what we have nowadays as a vampire. I was able to find this movie in a channel called Timeless Classic Movies, so you can guys go and give it a look. Now, the number 8 of this list is the first zombie film. I don't know if you ever heard about this one, but well, this one is called White Zombie, from 1932. As many of you guys know, also, like if you're a heavy metal fan, Rob Zombie used to have a previous band before he was going solo called White Zombie. And Rob Zombie being a huge fan of horror movies, I'm pretty sure this movie is why he did it. So, first zombie film, White Zombie, 1932, directed by Victor Halperin, country, United States. Duration, 67 minutes. Now, we're going to be talking about some voodoo zombies around here, because the movie goes that a couple, Madeleine and her fiancé, Neil Parker, arrive on Haiti. They're planning their imminent marriage, their wedding. And on their way, the couple coach passes Murder Lingerie Plantation. So Mr. Murder Lingerie is actually an evil voodoo master. And after they get back, they meet with their friend Charles, who secretly loves Madeline. So Charles secretly requests help from the voodoo master, Mr. Murder Legendary, to make her a zombie and fall in love of him. Now, this movie. Well, I gotta start with the fact that this movie has the amazing Bela Lugosi in it. He is Murder Legendary, the evil voodoo master. So you can already know it's gonna be a good movie. The zombies are very cool. They look very creepy. And then again, they're voodoo zombies. They do explain that they're actually corpses back to life. They're like moving corpses without a soul. But they're different from the living death zombies that we have. They look very creepy, you know. And something that I love about movies where Bela Lugosi is in it, it's that he has this classic Lugosi creepy stare, you know, where he's like watching into the camera and they just made like a first plane of his eyes, you know. I really enjoy it. I found it on a channel called Cinema Classics. If you guys want to jump and give it a look. Now, number 9. Now, this is a good one. This is actually a very fun fact. Number 9 is the first psychological horror film, and it's called Le Cauchemar, which is French, if I pronounce it correctly. Very likely I didn't. But in the United States was released as A Nightmare from 1896, directed then again by the great Georges Méliès from France. The duration of this film, it's 1 minute. Just 1 minute. So I will take 1 minute of your time to jump and watch this one. And the plot goes as follows. A guy attempts to have a nice night of sleep, but nightmares came in, and his night of sleep turns into a horrible night. It's 1 minute long, so there's not much that I can say about it. However, for me it's very curious that, well, George wanted to film or develop a film about a nightmare, you know. I think most people will be driven to make a film about a dream, like a nice dream or something nice happening, and he decided to go into the nightmare side of it. It's very clever. Like, the idea is very clever and the acting is very good. So I really hope you guys jump into it and give it a look. I found this film on a movie channel called Potluck Videos, so you can guys go and give it a quick look. I think you will be very happy to see it. So number 10, the first animated horror cartoon. And the first animated horror cartoon was The Haunted House, 1929, directed by Walt Disney. Is from the United States. The duration is 6 minutes and 41 seconds. The story goes as follows. Mickey is caught by a storm in the middle of the night. He's walking, so he enters into an old house that unfortunately it happens to be haunted. I don't want to tell you much about these movies, guys, because they're so small, they're so short that I will give away the whole movie for you guys. But it is a very nice short film. You know, it's very entertaining. the cartoons for of those ages are super iconic, you know, like Betty Bob, for example. I think you will have so much nostalgia watching it, and I think you guys will love like the whole cartoon of it. It has these skeletons, you know, that they just fall apart and they just came back all together, and they use their ribs as, you know, musical instruments and stuff like that. So it's a very cool idea, and I will then again leave the link below for you guys to see it. And I want to give you, I didn't want to leave this subject behind, so I'm gonna cheat a little bit, and I'm gonna give you guys a number 11 film, the last film, which is the first witch horror movie. If you're a strong fan of horror movies, I'm pretty sure you have heard about this one. But if you don't, I think you're gonna really appreciate this film. And it's called Häxan, and it's from 1968. The translation of it is The Witches, and it was released in the US as Witchcraft Through the Ages. It was directed by Benjamin Christensen. The country is Sweden, so it's actually very odd. You know, it's not very common. It's a long movie. It's 105 minutes, so it's like an hour 40 kinda. And the idea of this film is the following. It consists partly on a documentary style storytelling, as well as a dramatized narrative sequences. The film reviews historical roots and superstitions surrounding witchcraft, beginning on the Middle Ages all through the 20th century. So, in my opinion, I really like it. I like it enough to put it like a 11 place on this countdown. I was when I looked for it on YouTube, I was able to find like many options, but I was able to find one with a red like filter on it and a soundtrack that it's better than the other ones that I found. But this movie is something, like it's really something, you know. I love how they portrayed hell, demons, witches, spells, witchcrafts, the places they show you, the torture of the Middle Ages, you know, that the witches went through, you know, and it really leaves a mark on you, you know. It's a very well worth movie to watch. I highly recommend you to watch this movie particularly, and I was able to find it in a channel called the Jijun channel. But anyway, I will definitely leave the link below so you can guys see specifically this one that I saw, because the colors, the red filter actually like bring it back to life very strong. So guys, that is tonight's show. I really hope you have enjoyed it and that you can take the time to give them a look. Personally, I really love how they used to portray those things that scare us now, but how they look at back in the day. How they managed to do the makeup, the special effects, the acting. Specifically for special effects, I personally don't like CGI in horror movies. For me, practical effects are everlasting in horrors. They make horror movies to last ages, and I think this is a very good example of it. And I also know there are a few early movies or short films that appear previous than this or in between, but I feel these ones are the best ones that fit to the category or the description of it. No. Please guys, if you decide to go and watch any of these movies, give them a like. I think they very well earn it. I think it's very cool that those type of channels hold those type of movies for us. So definitely they deserve some likes, and wander through the channels. I'm pretty sure that you're gonna be able to find very awesome horror movies in there. But Once again, I want you guys to remember that this show is for you, my lost horror lovers. So chat, recommend, and give me your opinions. Once again, remember that this show is for you, my lost horror lovers. So chat, recommend, and give me your opinions. You know you're always welcome to contact me, and I will leave my Instagram down below. Hit me with your comments. Let's talk a little. And I will be here next Monday for all of you guys. I want to tell you thank you for tuning 1999K Radio. Have a cold, calm night, and remember, horror, it might be very well the first feeling in history. Good night.